back to Confessions of a Game God podcast. I'm your host, Doom Cutie, and here right next to me.
Oh my God, I can touch you.
This is so wild. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry that we are late. The camera's there, not there, like it usually is in my setup. But it's been wild. Like,
oh my God, it's been a week.
It has been a week. If you can't tell how tired we are, just look at my face. Hello. We have Leishi.
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Right next to me in the same mic. This is wild. We are coming to you, both Leishi and I. We're live from the UTS Red Bull Gaming Hub. Thank you so much. They have like a cool like little fridge there. And everyone gets Red Bull. So
yes, yeah. But we miss you, Ellie. You are not with us.
I know, and I miss you too. I've been living vicariously through your Instagrams, your stories. So I love that you're having so much fun because I too am living through you.
That's okay. Honestly, if I could like tag out, like that'd be great. Because like honestly, it has been so wild.
It's been full on.
But you know what? We've done a lot of stuff, and if you have been following our stories, you'll know that both Leishi and I have been doing some incredible things here at South by Southwest. We've also had our own little projects that we've been doing, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of content coming to everyone across our channels.
Absolutely. It's definitely the right time to subscribe to all of us individually and follow us on our socials if you're not, because
exactly
we have had a lot to do this week and we're pretty excited to show everybody.
Definitely. This week, Ellie, you're going to have to carry the team on telling us what you've been playing. Because we obviously we have been playing some fantastic indie games that have been on showcase here at South by Southwest. But please tell me that you've been playing something really good.
Well, I've kind of been playing a bit of everything, actually. I haven't really been able to settle on anything that I'm like, you know what, I want to sit down and play this for however long. I've been playing bits and bobs of different things every day. So it's like you guys are playing as well, because there's no one game over here. So I've been playing like a little bit of the first Alan Wake. I've been playing a little bit of Fortnite as always. And I was also playing this morning a wee bit of Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, which is the little farming sim, which I just don't know if it's for me. Leisha, I know you're a massive cozy gamer, and
I'm actually surprised you picked it up again. Like the fact you just said that, I'm kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, I was, and then I just don't know if cozy is for me. I think I just need a bit more action, a bit more. You know, I'm still raging at my tummies, but yeah, I think I just need a smidgen more bang, bang, dodge, tumble, roll in my games, I think.
No, that's fair enough. I can understand. It can get pretty washed out, especially if you are playing a lot of the same cozy genre.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, you know, for example, being here in Sydney this week and seeing a lot of indie games, there's still cozy indie games that are not your traditional farming sims. You know, there's a lot of variety, and I think it's just a genre that there's something for everybody if you do want to relax too. But unless you're Ellie and you just want to play horror,
cause chaos.
I know. It was for me, stepping out of the horror genre, even though it's October, so I have all the rights in the world to be playing horror. But unlike the rest of the world, I have actually not picked up Spider-Man 2 just yet. Because I just have, and I'll be pretty honest, the price point for me at the moment can be quite exy, especially when I know for the next, like, I think 3 days, I'm quite swamped with back-to-back things. So I know I'm not going to be able to sit down and play it. So I think in my own theory, and I do it a lot with a lot of new games actually, is I normally wait out the first week, because the really hardcore, almost like competitive gamers, I would say, they buy it, absolutely smash it out, and then they sell it on, because that's all they do. They just cycle through games. And multiple times I have bought new games, even just like 8 to 10 days after its release, with like $20, $30 cheaper. And honestly, anything you can keep in your pocket is worth it. And I did that with the a couple of things actually I've done it with, and it's worked out really well. Like The Last of Us Part 2, I did that for that, and it worked. So maybe I might do that for Spidey, but I'm trying to avoid spoilers. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, same here. Especially being away. Like, we're going home today after this. We have a 10-hour drive, so I don't actually get to play until at least tomorrow if I'm even awake.
I would not be surprised if you were.
No, I probably won't be. But being surrounded by PlayStation's activation in Sydney at the moment, which if you haven't seen it, they have this big suspended truck hung by webs in the middle of Sydney. We've all got it. Well, not Ellie, but me and Doom Cutie do have it on our social media on Instagram if you want to see it. But, being surrounded by all the hype and everyone walking past and buying the game, the merch, it's very easy to just overhear something. So I've just been tunnel vision, ignoring everyone around me because I cannot wait to play the game.
Yeah, no, it's the activation here is incredible. But you know what? I do get what you're saying, Ellie. There are lots of people who will purchase the game and then just, return it. I think, what is it, 7 days? I think.
Yeah, at EB,
that you can return your games at EB. So look, I get it. But I just can't wait, and I'll be terrible. I'm terrible at like keeping secrets and stuff like that. So it's like, like unless I'm like a signed contract, with
NDA.
or like it's, like my soul, or my voice, like Little Mermaid or something. Like honestly, I've actually blocked the word Spider-Man on Twitter because because that
smart.
because that's the only way that you're going to not see those spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you are someone who doesn't like spoilers on any game, you can go ahead and you can block those across your socials. But yeah, I did try actually last night at Fortress because I had my Spider-Man game with me.
Yes.
I went up to the people and I was like, so do you have PS5s? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh.
They did have them set up.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And I said, could I just play? Can I play my Spider-Man game? And they said no.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
They said no. So,
but your Spider-Man game is actually a little bit special now. I don't know if I would want to touch it. That thing needs to be framed.
Well, it's not like the disc, so
true.
That's okay. But yes, I was lucky enough to attend the Spider-Man talk with. Is he the creative?
He's a design director.
Yep. Of Spider-Man 2, and the panel was hosted by our friend of the podcast, Stephanie Bendixson, or Hex Steph. It was fantastic to meet her in person. Every time that I've seen her, like during an event, whether it be with Logitech or whoever she's partnered with at the time, there's always a lot of people around. So I thought, that was my foot. Sorry. So I met her, which was fantastic. And it was like a really like intimate experience, which was really cool. Oh, I didn't realize that closes.
Might be a bit of background noise, everybody.
Yeah. Like, I was sweating before I got here, and apparently I just didn't put enough hairspray in my hair. But it is what it is. Spider-Man.
Yeah. But there's more.
Super cool about your signed edition. That's awesome. And the thing in Sydney, the little demo, because did they have NPCs? Did I see? Is that they were NPCing it up?
Yep, NPC cops.
Yeah.
And it was very funny to watch them yesterday morning. They did so well. Like, being hired to do NPC acting would be so funny. So well done to them.
Yeah, and they're like,
they have a list of lines that they use.
Yeah, they did.
I love
and it was
that.
so hard to like communicate with them because they would talk to you, and at first you think you're having a normal conversation until they start repeating themselves.
Yeah, like
and they just start robotically moving around. You're like, okay, time to walk away.
Or I like it when they do like this little glitch thing where they like try and jump over something, and they're just like jumping on the
That's
spot.
cool.
Or
Yeah.
moonwalking on the spot when they're trying to walk forward. They
Yeah,
can't move forward.
Oh, that's so cool.
I've seen. I remember. I think last year at PAX at Fortress, they actually had an NPC there as part of their scavenger hunt. And she was walking. I don't know how long she was there for, but yeah, she was just kind of like moving around like a robot, avatar NPC. And unless you said the correct thing to her, which was part of the scavenger hunt, she wouldn't respond to you at all.
That's cool.
I love that.
Look, the dedication to some of these gaming activations is just outstanding, and well done to the teams who have put those together. And just fantastic work.
That's so cool. That's like those. Have you come across them on either TikTok or I think it's mainly TikTok, but probably on Instagram Reels too? The NPC girls, how
Yes,
they either do lives or they do sometimes like the pre-record, but they're the strangest but yet like most fascinating thing, because some of them are really, really good at it, and they're just the way they move is so like just like a non-playable character by anyone that doesn't know what an NPC is. But yeah, it's really cool. And then it makes me think, how we do a lot of people do hiring of either celebrity impersonators or video game characters, superheroes, that sort of thing with parties and events. Imagine hiring an NPC or like multiple NPCs. That would make a party or an event so funny. And it's just given me an idea.
No, she's probably going to make a Instagram reel, another one that's going to be hilarious.
I don't think I could NPC myself. I don't think I've got that sort of talent, but it makes me want to create a function just to hire a bunch of NPCs, because I would love for them to just repeat stuff when I'm talking to them. I'm like, my turn to leave. All right, thank you.
Look out. I hope I get invited to that, because that sounds like a lot of fun. But I can imagine, we're going a little bit off topic here, but I can imagine, like you have a resume, right? And professional NPC. I'm just, It's like, Mum, when I grow up, I want to be an actor. Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, an NPC.
NPC. Love it.
Oh, my days. So I think probably one of the biggest things that I've taken away so far from the South by Southwest event in Sydney this year is that this is a really exciting time for gaming IRL. I really feel that, with PAX, with this event being here for the first time in Australia, I think finally we are seeing the rise of gaming to be considered a legitimate form of entertainment for all ages. And its injection into South by Southwest has been a lot of fun. And, the title of this episode, what do we think the future of gaming conventions are? I think it's important to, note where we are and how much it has advanced just in our times in content creating around gaming. But what do you think we can look forward to in the future? Because there's so many layers to this, and I think it's actually a really exciting time to be in this space. Ellie, how do you feel about gaming conventions in Australia at the moment?
Yeah, I think much like anything else is obviously Australia is quite far away from the rest of the world, and notably North America, because that essentially is a lot of the gaming development and publishing of the world is North America. And so when it comes to Australia, everything takes ages to come here, vendors, all of that. Like, they don't really necessarily need to come around the other side of the world when they can have all these sorts of things in America. And the fact that now that Australia is being put on the map, there's obviously notable in Europe as well, but I'm not super knowledgeable about Europe, but I know that there's obviously a gaming space over there. But the fact that Australia now is getting put on the map for these gaming conventions is just amazing because what you were saying before, Doom Cutie, is uh, video games are a business. They're quite a business, and South by Southwest really proves that because it is, to me, like a grown-up PAX. It's very business professional. There's a lot going on, not just for video games, of course. It's a big convention for a lot of different things, but especially the gaming, it's very mature and it mixes business and pleasure of the video game world. And then just being able to experience that in Australia, I think it's just super exciting for the average Australian, and we're very, very blessed. It would be good when it spreads out into the rest of the country. I think that Melbourne and Sydney do end up getting a lot of the attention, and being a WA gal yourself, I can imagine you'd love to see things more over in Perth. And I would travel, like coming from someone who's in Melbourne, I'd be more than happy to travel over to Perth. I'd even go more north in Australia like that. That wouldn't bother me if it's worth it, which obviously PAX was, and South by Southwest is also worth it. The limit does not exist. So it's exciting. And I am looking forward to the future and how many more big names that we can get down here, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. And you make a really valid point about the locations in which these events are held. I don't know about you, Lishi, but I think that finding the right infrastructure that's going to be suitable for the multitude of activations, how people are going to engage with the form of entertainment that you're giving them is actually really difficult.
It is. And this week has proven that as well. So for reference, South by Southwest Sydney, locations are spread out pretty much all over the city, right? So you've got 4 different industries. You've got games, tech, screen, and music. So venues are just booking themselves out for different things, different events. And if you want to get to and from places, you have to walk or travel. You get on the tram, the train, use your legs, get an Uber, whatever. It's not in one location, kind of like what PAX is in Melbourne. So for something so big, like, it's great that it's so big. I find a problem with it because I want to get to so many things and I physically can't. And I think, it's great that gaming has risen so much that it can be incorporated with these massive parts of the industry. But then I kind of just wish it was kept to itself in one spot where everyone can be together. It's easy to, it's accessibility. That makes no sense. You know what I mean? It's more accessible.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a lot less stressful for people to have to keep traveling and stuff. So it's got its good and its bad, you know. But this is the first convention I've been to that's out of Melbourne. Okay. So, and it's a huge one.
Yeah.
I'm so used to those conventions being in one location, so it is different. It's great again that it's so big, but it's still trying to navigate it can be really hard.
I think that South by Southwest, in regards to the separation between the venues, I think it's made the places kind of talk to each other a bit more. I feel like everywhere I go, regardless of how far away it is from, so there's the ICC, right? Triple C? ICC, which is the convention center. And that is very divided up. It's good. There's a lot of rooms where panels are. There's rooms for where the tech space is, and then there's an outside kind of pavilion area, and that's where there's a big stage, and there's they had the Porsche, they had the Porsche cars there, and people can walk around and see that. There's all these really cool brands and all kinds of people, and bringing their entertainment here. Trying to make sense. It's been a long week. What I'm trying to say is that no matter where I went, I always knew that it was South by Southwest.
Yeah, the signage is there, and it's obvious that where you're attending is related to the convention. But it's definitely spread out for sure.
But also, like, I feel like Fortress has taken a lot more interest in this event than maybe Fortress in Melbourne does with PAX. And I'm not really quite sure why that might be the case. Like, there is, like, for example, they host talks there during the day, and also, you know, there's they use that space for the tabletop community to sit down with one another, and it's really nice. It's really cozy. And I just wonder, maybe if Fortress Melbourne gave PAX that opportunity, it would be really good. What do you think, Ellie?
Do they have the same facilities? Because I thought Sydney's Fortress was much larger than Melbourne's.
It actually feels smaller.
It's on 2 levels, as in, it's hard to explain.
It's in like a shopping mall.
But so
the Sydney Fortress.
Sorry, yeah, the Sydney one, but it's like it's long.
It's long and thin.
Yeah, like if you go into Melbourne's like Alienware Arena, that feels huge.
It does, but it's on the opposite side. So the way it's shaped is it's kind of like a H, and then there's an upstairs part. So yeah, you've got like I don't know if you've been over that side, but they've got all the PCs kind of in one section, so it's separated from the bar kind of area, which I suppose is a good thing, because it's kind of like prevents a lot of noise like going across, and that's where all of the computers are, and then the bar on the other side, and then you can go upstairs and you can actually view the arena from a balcony. So I think the facilities are pretty similar. I just maybe it's a finance budget thing.
I don't know. I think as time goes on, we'll see a lot of change, and especially the way that gaming the gaming convention side of things is growing in Australia too. Like, it's really good to see, and I do hope that we can get more venues like Fortress interstate. You know, it's fantastic that we've got it in Sydney as well as Melbourne. So it'd be great to fit it out across every state, or at least something similar, because then, yes, it will invite more opportunity for other states to host these kind of things. Whether or not we'll see it on the West Coast, I bloody hope so. But I feel like, if anything, they'd go into the Queensland direction first, and then hopefully go out. But it's definitely something I want to see. I want to travel my country more.
That's it.
Like this, it gets us all out, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and because we were discussing with Double Jump probably a month or two ago now, weren't we, that there's just no facilities really, Perth kind of WA area for such a gaming the gaming industry. But I mean, it's kind of all snowballing though, would you say, like in the way of it's becoming bigger, it's been taken more seriously, more people are getting involved in it, it is more accessible than ever in the way of the internet, of television, competitions. It is just growing and growing every single year. It's probably one of the biggest developing industry that there is. You would think that like the WA government would jump onto something like that and eventually have something over that way. And I think that's what Double Jump was saying that they wanted to do, to kind of bring more gaming over that side of Australia, because it would be cool. And I'm the same as you, Ligia. Like, I would love to have an excuse to head more over that way and just fund some pop some cash on in the I was gonna say ecosystem. That's wrong. The right into the plants over there. No. Right into the money machine. Economy. There we go. Got there.
The economy.
Oh my goodness. I think there's a lot of room to grow, definitely, in Australia for events, and I think we've come out of the COVID hangover, and I think the more that time goes on, the better these facilities will be. But personally, I do agree. Thank you, Xbox International Podcast. Thanks for being here. They're in the chat saying, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Yay! We only have 2 cameras this week, so it's a bit different. I think it'll spread to Brisbane first. I was looking when I was looking at the website for this particular venue, so this venue is so Red Bull Gaming have partnered with University of Technology in Sydney, and they have sort of like, it's kind of like an underground kind
It's
of,
very cool.
yeah, it's I can imagine there could be some really cool activations down in here, because it's sort of like a tunnel like system, and it has like all these rounded archways and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden there's this like a neon room with like a bunch of computers here. So it's actually a really cool space. And on their website they have future plans on opening one in Brisbane and one in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I do think that the East Coast is going to be painted gaming.
Mm-hmm. It's a start.
It's definitely a start. And, you know, for people who do live remotely, it is a little bit of a shame. But in saying that, even people that do live in metro, like you said, Lishi, you know, we all want to be able to see the country. And
100%.
and if there was an opportunity to go somewhere different, whether it is Perth or further north in Australia, like I think that could be really, really amazing.
But look how many people travel to PAX, for example, to Melbourne. Like there's no reason why everyone on the East Coast wouldn't go to the West. You know, it invites so much money and tourism into the state. It's just take the risk. It'll pay off.
You know, I've been going around and I've been talking to Uber drivers and, you know, people, and they're like, oh, are you, because the hotel that I'm staying at is actually quite like a businessy. I didn't realize it was. So I'm like walking around in like, I don't know, a World of Warcraft t-shirt, and there's like people like who have like suits on and stuff, and I'm like, okay.
They just say Doom.
Oh yeah, I had my Doom shirt on for the very first mixer, and everyone was like Doom. And tracking back. What was I saying? Oh, people ask me where I'm from, and I say, oh, I'm from Western Australia, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm like,
that's so mean.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Yeah. And you know what? I think if they actually came to WA, they might be like, oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
Because it actually is really beautiful. Like I grew up in New South Wales, so I'm kind of like familiar with like the general sort of, it's always under construction.
Yeah.
There's always something being fixed, not necessarily built, but like changed in some way. Yes. And it's because, you know, Sydney is one of the very first cities that kind of, you know, got built up. Whereas in WA, Perth is very well spread. It's very well thought out. And, you know, like the vegetation, like the plants and stuff like that, they're all like local. So they'll take all of they'll clear the land, and then they'll take all of the plants that were there, and then they'll put them back once they're done. And you can really see, like, quite frankly, it's like, it can be a little bit chaotic. So I think that if people actually came there for a gaming event, they might tease me less.
Yeah, of course.
For sure.
Yeah, but we're only going to see it continue to grow. And what, like, for me personally, just kind of tracking off a little bit, the tech side of this week, it kind of doesn't know what it wants to be yet. Yeah. Which I am really hoping come next year that grows even more. So I think it was test the waters with some brands, see what they can bring in. But like Ali said before, South by Southwest Sydney is definitely more a business corporate event for that part of the industry. So, you know, the techie in me is like, I want to see like a mini CES in Australia.
Yeah, okay.
That would be cool to incorporate with something like this. But like the game side of it, because IEM is on this weekend, is on now. Intel have done an amazing job of decking out that tech hall and obviously putting on the convention too. So they've crossed really nicely, but I do feel like the indie games have been shoved off to the side.
Oh, for sure.
They're in a completely different building, tucked away in a corner, and unless you are specifically going to that and you know where to go, you wouldn't actually really find it. Yeah. Which is a shame, because there is like 150 developers here this week. including this weekend, and all indies. And we want to highlight that, but you're shoving it off in the corner.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no one's
You need
really
the
got
foot
to
traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
exactly
just
right.
need people stumbling across it rather than, the folk that really want to see the indies, which is fantastic regardless. But you want those people that wouldn't necessarily be hunting them out to come across them and be like, oh, actually, like, XYZ was really cool and I'm going to check out this, and chatting to this person was really awesome. Like getting that sort of foot traffic through really is the key to, bringing that to a different level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, these people some of them have paid to have a booth at this event. And quite frankly, if that one of the locations for games is actually at a train station, and there are people. It's a very busy location. I don't know if you've been up to that one.
No, I haven't been there yet. I only went to the hotel.
Yeah, it's really random where it is, and the people that are walking through there, they're not looking at that. They're going home or they're traveling to work. So it's personally, I think that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do that again. I really enjoy how well thought out the tech space is, but that tech space should have been for games. Like I think it would have gone really well in there.
Yeah. They would have been able to fit both. There's a lot of
it's so spread
space.
out,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have invited a lot more people in.
And for example, so Aftershock and PLC, PLE computers, they're in the tech area, but they're gaming computers, and they have indie themed computers there. So the indie games that were part of at PAX, or that they've partnered with these indie games and they've printed the artwork from the game
on the case.
Yeah, but that's in the tech area where they've got people talking about AI and
Amazon's new shopping system, cardless shopping or whatever it is, and
it just seems
it's all out of place.
Yeah, and then at the back there's some VR games
hidden away.
And then there was actually one game which I actually really enjoyed playing, and it was kind of like what do we call it? Like Grand Theft Auto, but like farm management.
Oh my god, that's so up my alley.
And it does have co-op as well, which is really cool. But like that's a game that's really in early development, and it's a really cool concept because you could inject lots of different things into that game, and it's not in the right spot. And I highly doubt the people because we all have different lanyards. I highly doubt those people have gone to the back of the tech center looking for it. So it's there's a few things there that don't really make sense to me, because the way at the Mercure Hotel, which is where the main indie space is, they've got
Grand Theft Auto here. Sorry.
No, it was like you have a helicopter and you can drive a helicopter and your friend can ride a horse and you herd the cattle and you feed them and all kinds of stuff. Really, really amazing stuff. Anyway, at the Mercure Hotel, they have like a roster of, so one game is going, like, let's say you get like the morning slot or the evening slot, and then they swap over. They could have done that at that location and it would have filled that out. But there is a caveat to that. They do host a networking kind of event in the mornings and in the evenings, so that developers can talk to one another. And I've been able to talk to many people working on games. I don't know if you've attended.
We went to the first one.
Yeah,
it was a breakfast, so that's where we saw you. For the
yes, because we've both been gallivanting everywhere, and I think that's really nice. I don't know how they could have made that work down there.
Yeah.
So
there's
yeah.
a lot of things that I guess they'll improve, and it'll be cool to
Yeah.
see next year. But I think overall they've done a good job.
Yeah,
just
it's a
these little
huge
things.
event.
Oh my God.
It's huge.
I do not envy the team who have created this week, because it's just been hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think the game side of it, they can definitely highlight a bit better and back a little bit more, because the music and film have been incredible.
Yeah.
Like I went to the Amazon Prime worldwide screening, like the first premiere of the Wiggles documentary that they're doing, and people with platinum passes could go as well. I got invited along as there's a +1, and it was huge. Like they had the Wiggles there, they ran the interviews, we're in a cinema. It was just full, completely full. And there was also another advanced screening, I think last night, for Saltburn, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
So the film side of it has been incredible, and then all the music too at the bars and the venues and the stages.
Yeah.
Like that's just done so well. But then the gaming and tech side of it, which you kind of think of, I mean, when I heard of South by Southwest, I thought of gaming and tech.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels a little smaller than that. So yeah, I guess like next year will be a nice improvement. They can't make it worse.
No, I don't think so. And this is like we said, like I don't think there's any event like this ever.
No,
it's
not here anyway.
Yeah, it's a week-long event that's celebrating all of these amazing creative minds that are in the entertainment industry. And as tired as my feet are,
and brain
networking 24/7, it has been a fantastic time.
Yeah.
And obviously, being the first time, we are going to have some feedback and some growing pains for sure. But overall, fantastic. And you know what? PAX was amazing as well. And coming off PAX, that's probably another thing. I don't know about the date. I don't know whether they'll continue with the same date next year if it does come back, which I hope it does.
I hope it's at least 2 weeks out myself, because it's a lot of work if you're gonna be here the whole week and do all of PAX as well. Incorporate traveling. Like Jesus, we are robots.
Yeah, because it makes it hard being, in Sydney and Melbourne, because it doesn't matter if you're either Melbourne based or Sydney based, like you're going to travel to at least one. And if you're out of state, you're traveling to at least two. So having a bit of time distance between the two events would be extremely handy, because it's the fatigue, and also you're taking in so much anyway. You kind of need a moment and a palate cleanser to kind of accept it, really let it sink in, and then kind of move on to the next sort of stuff, which you would see at South by Southwest. Like there's just so much going on that you kind of need a breather, because there was a lot of people speaking at panels at PAX that also went to the showcases in Sydney. So there's people get spread quite thin, and you don't also want the quality of the content to drop due to that.
That's how I feel, actually. That's such a good point. I feel like even though I've made a lot of content, it just doesn't feel as good as what my pack stuff was. Okay. And I think it comes down to just an energy thing. Like, I can admit, like, hand up, I am drained. So, but like, again, at the end of the day, they're not there to cater for us. And that's correct. Our energy levels. But it is a full-on quarter, and it always is. Quarter 4 is huge every year. So, I mean, I'm all for bring all the events to Australia, but having them spread out a little bit would be handy.
Definitely. But yeah, look at it. Look, October is like Christmas for gamers. We know this, what game releases and whatnot. Maybe if we can just maybe a couple more weeks between PAX and South by Southwest. I will say something that does excite me about South by Southwest, because I think, Ellie, you said, what did you say? It's like grown up PAX. That's how it feels. With obviously PAX. With obviously film and music, and more focus on tech as well. I feel, because it is more grown up, potentially PlayStation and Xbox might be like, oh, okay, we'll come. What do you think?
Don't think so.
Really?
And that's only because of insider knowledge. Just knowing how much these things cost and the way, like, globally, having them pull out an E3 and stuff like that, and they know they can do it all digital. It also comes down to, like, in Australia, these brands have such a hard time getting approvals of bringing content out. Like, I'm so surprised Nintendo had Mario Wonder at PAX. It wasn't even released, you know? So I don't, maybe in a smaller scale, like what PlayStation did with the Spider-Man panel and stuff, but I don't know if they would have, like, an exhibitor booth. I could only wish. I just don't think it would happen. Like, knowing the cost of running packs and stuff like that, it's a lot of money for them to, you know, it's got to benefit them in a way. And if they don't bring us the games to play or the content for us that is not out yet, then it's like, I don't know. That's how my brain thinks about it.
That's okay. Just crush my dreams. It's fine.
I'm sorry. I wanted to do it in person, okay?
Look, if you're gonna break someone's heart, you might as well do it face to face.
Yeah, next to each other.
Look, I do get what you're saying, but there's nothing like engaging with this content IRL.
100%.
In real life, you're there, you get the energy of other people, you get to interact with the stuff that you love. I actually, while I was here, actually went over to the Microsoft experience in Pitt Street, and that's an actual Microsoft store. Upstairs they have, like, all of the controllers. They have, like, a massive thing set up for Forza Motorsport.
That's cool.
Really cool. And, like, that got me excited for, like, what a booth would look like. So really, I'd probably shot myself in the foot by being like, oh my God, this is so amazing. imagine if it was at an event. But what I am saying, though, is if people want to create events in other areas outside of Melbourne or even Sydney, I feel like they'd have to bring some big boys. Yeah. Some big boys there, because true. It's just
need to bring the hype.
Yeah, because I think this year's PAX was so successful because Nintendo was there. I think that was a massive get for them. And a very exciting time, a fantastic booth, very interactable. That line to play that game was always full the entire time. And the
experience was there.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you walk into that booth and you feel like you're, like, in Nintendo land. Or
yes. Yeah. That the floor covering and all of that. So look, it's just something to think about and something. I'm still going to look forward to it, despite what you say.
I'd say it legitimizes as well.
I am.
No, we could only hope. But yeah, I think next year will be, like, for this specific event would be really good. Yeah. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too.
But that's it. And like you were saying before, the only way is up, really, with all that stuff. Because I would say Nintendo being at PAX definitely legitimized it, and definitely made it feel I don't want to say, like, professional, because obviously it's a really well put together event, but I would say, like, it steps up in the gaming world. Like, Nintendo is a big player. Like, Nintendo is ginormous, of course, and an old school business. And so for them to be at PAX amongst things that are the indies, it just puts PAX on the map of, like, oh, so actual massive video game companies take this sort of thing quite seriously. And so it's a fantastic addition to PAX, well, at least the video game section, of course, for everyone, really. And you're right, the line, I didn't even bother lining up because the line was so long all the time, and it would have been amazing because it's actually really, it piqued my interest, but I just couldn't fathom standing there for too long, and the line looked extremely long, unfortunately.
But when we're looking at the indie games, there's a couple of people standing around. I love being able to watch other people play as well, so I think that's probably a benefit of the sections where you can see the screens. I know obviously Wonder was kind of like behind a wall kind of thing, and no matter, like, where you stood in the line, you couldn't watch, but that often, like, softens the blow of sitting there for a little while. I think and being able to watch people play. And that was actually something that I really enjoyed. The Godfeather.
Yes.
The Godfeather game had their launch party. And people could play the game down in the Alienware arena, and on the screen you could see every single player and what they were doing.
That's cool.
It was, that was really cool. So I love watching people play. I mean, that's why Twitch and streaming is so successful. So love to see it. Oh, and we love to see the chat. Just a lot of lovely faces in there. So thank you so much.
We love our fans and our crew. You're like our family. It's really special when you guys jump in and interact with us, and it's great.
Oh yeah, definitely. It makes the walk that I had to walk to get here and all the stress to organize this worth it for sure. And you know what?
How do you find those booths?
Which one?
Because you've been in a couple booths before while you've been on the go for the podcast, the podcast booths. Do you quite enjoy them? Like, do you find that they're quite resourceful, or do you think that they're just sort of like a pop-up that they know will bring the cash in?
Look, this isn't. I'll be honest. This isn't that expensive because this is actually targeted towards students.
Yeah, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. So it's for this particular booth, it's $10 per hour. So and you log in. Yeah, it's very, very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
If I can hear music, sorry, so it got quite loud for a second. So quite affordable for people if they do want, just some chill out time. Just they don't have to stream in here. They can just
just rent it out.
Yeah.
Even if you want to muck around with the setup, like this is a full streaming setup. So you've got access to mics, key lights, webcam, stream deck, everything. So that was sick. That was great. So if you just want to learn how to operate this stuff, like I think it's great.
And they're really helpful. Like I would say that going to one of these places would be fantastic for someone who doesn't actually own any of this stuff and wants to see how it's set up, because number one, you get shown everything, kind of like when you go to the gym.
Yeah. That walkthrough and what's the word? Never mind, I forgot.
Like a tour?
Yeah. They show you how things work.
Induction,
yes.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who was interested in streaming or wanted to set up something at home for themselves could easily come out to one of these places and just get a feel for it, for sure. There are some things that I've found a little bit annoying, like potentially the setup time. For a place like this, it does eat into, for example, today we were 7 minutes late because we just set it up. Yeah, we had to set it up. So, and that includes like logging on and all that kind of stuff. So that was a little bit annoying. With the hen house that I went to in Perth, which they actually set up with a lot more like noise cancelling and stuff like that, so you can't hear the other booths because people have like guitars and drums and stuff like that, and you don't want to be filming that, obviously. Whereas places like this, they probably don't have that noise cancelling, and if they do, like Fortress in Melbourne has it, but yeah, it's just not always. You can't guarantee that,
But it's a start.
Yeah, no, it's honestly there needs to be more of these, and I love that they've partnered with a university. It really does mean that they know their audience, and like it's just really encouraging. You're encouraging creativity, you're encouraging engagement, socialization. It's it's a really cool space.
Yeah,
and I think this is probably one of the coolest ones that I've been to, actually.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I have found it like interesting, but like I said, one thing that I would change is maybe if we could have an additional like 5 or 10 minutes on either side of the booking.
Yeah. Just for stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when you said that it's like an hourly rate. I supposed it was more just like a business decision to do it blocked hours.
Yeah.
So that if someone was like, I'm aiming to stream for an hour today, I guess that means I'm going to have to purchase 2 hours instead because it's going to take me, 10 minutes to set up and it's going to take me 15 minutes to close down. Like I've got to sort of pay my way of, adjacent sides. So I think it's more of like a business decision instead of like, the grace period. I think that they'd probably let you get away with a couple cheeky minutes, but if you've got back-to-back bookings, you kind of have, you've kind of got no choice but to do the 2 hours just so you're safe. Or even if they offered like half an hour, could be handy just to save a little extra cash because it's a buffer. But it is absolutely fantastic that they are doing it with a university, because when I was in university, I was lucky enough that I went to a uni that had that sort of resource. But if there wasn't, it's fantastic to know that there's also stuff around the place and popping up here and there in Melbourne and all of that to offer that to people who aren't necessarily tech wizards that can get themselves up and running in a couple minutes, and then they can explore these resources and this technology before going and buying it for themselves at home.
And I think from a brand perspective, if I came out with a new product and I wanted either feedback or I wanted people to use my product a lot, I would definitely put it in one of these places because people would be like, I really love using this. This is the reason why I come here or whatever, and they'll go and invest it.
Yeah, and it's real users, everyday users, not people like me, tech reviewers, all that stuff, not people with that education. It's just everyday users wanting to learn and try. And that's the best kind of feedback you can get.
Definitely. And you know what the feedback I've gotten? I haven't really told this to Lishi, but people wanted us to have an audience for the podcast.
Yeah,
that's a live audience.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, now we're talking.
So stay tuned because I think we're going to have to make that happen, because I've been asked
so much fun
a lot of times.
All right.
So
I'm down. Work out the logistics.
Yes. Work out the logistics, when, where.
Yeah.
Look.
Well, might I just add? I mean, I'm going to have a new studio very soon.
Oh.
So
there we
go. I mean, that could get us all together. It might not be live audience, but at least it's a start to get us all together
in the same room. That'd be good.
And then maybe we'll have to see if we can get some kind of residency at a booth.
That would be insane. I would love that. Look, I'll be honest, because of the time that the podcast was created, a lot of the bookings for PAX were taken up. So there wasn't the opportunity to engage with PAX. And because this is the first South by Southwest event in Australia, they'd already assigned things and stuff like that. There's a lot of funny comments in chat. I'm just going to read them out. Control Alt Craft said, our lovely moderator, live audience, me sitting in the corner, occasionally making woo and yeah noises.
Wowie zowie.
Front row tickets, please. Get some cardboard cutouts of the fans for the background. Oh, okay. Yeah.
That could be like a reward kind of thing.
Oh, when we eventually get subscribers.
Go on a Patreon.
We'll stick your head up on the wall.
Your actual head.
Oh my goodness. So many lovely ideas, but yeah, definitely we'll have to be stepping it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
New season coming.
Yes. My goodness, it has been a fantastic episode. It's been fantastic chatting with you all because Lishi and I, we have barely seen each other.
We've been busy this week.
So
we've seen each other like 3 times.
Yeah, and it's just been like, hi, bye. We'll hug you through this camera. I love you.
It's just been hectic, and we're very excited to go home and rest and be back fresh as a daisy for whatever's coming next.
Most definitely. Oh, no one's chopping anyone's head off, okay? No one's chopping anyone's head off, all right? the future is bright.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is, for gaming and for Coag Podcast. We would like to thank our listeners on Spotify. Slowly growing, slowly. We've got to.
We see you.
I see you. I see your little numbers. You're on the graph that are looking at the analytics. I love you. We love you. Chat, you've been amazing, even though we were a little bit late. And thank you to Elgato. We have our lovely Wave 3 mic that has come with us on the road. Really light to travel with. Really
Puerto
fantastic.
Rican action. I'll show it off in more detail. So you guys definitely want to check out my Instagram if you're not already.
Yes. If you're not, you're doing something wrong.
Little self-plug.
It's all right.
But they're great for on the go. Like, they're just so modular. You can take this stuff with you, and it's so easy to set up and use.
Yeah. Plug and play, baby.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to get out of here. But thank you so much to everyone for listening.
Yes. And thank you to the Red Bull Gaming Hub for having us today as well. It's actually a really cool place. I'm glad we got to check it out and do the show from here.
Definitely. If you are around Sydney CBD, near the UTS building, come down and check it out. The staff are great. It's a great vibe. Grab some pickies, play some games.
Yep.
And a Red Bull. Cheers.
Cheers.
We love you all. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.